If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. And he said, it'll all change for you. So let's talk a little bit about personal development and that extraordinary adventure I undertook starting at age 25. I have never ceased that adventure. I'm still going for it. In the 90s, I want to get better and better. I want my craft to get better, my business operations to get better, and the things I do to get better, because once I picked up this simple formula, I'm telling you, it's easy to figure out where the problem is if you go to work on it. Now let's talk about personal development. In helping kids understand personal development, I always start with money. Now, money's not the only place to start. Money certainly isn't the only value, but we've all got to start somewhere, and money is something you can count. All right, kids are interested in money. Okay, a lot of things are a little tougher to measure, but economics is pretty easy, right? Because you can count. Okay, somebody says, how are you doing? So I don't know, let's count. Now, this is not the only count. I understand that. There's a lot of other things to count, but to see if there may be some errors in your judgment and lack of disciplines in your life. We might as well start with money because it's so easy to count. So let's just start there and see whether or not maybe we have messed up. Okay, so here's how I explain it to kids. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. Key to understanding economics. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. The marketplace is also described as reality. Reality, the marketplace. Now, it takes time. It takes time to bring value to the marketplace, but we don't get paid for time. It's very important for kids to understand, as well as adults, we don't get paid for time. Mistakenly, the man says, well, I'm making about $20 for an hour. Not true, not true. If that was true, you could just stay home and have them send your money. No, it's not true. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you put in the time. So we don't get paid for time. We get paid for value. Now, since that's true, here's one of the key questions. Is it possible to become twice as valuable and make twice as much money in the same time? Is it possible to become 3 times as valuable as you now are and make 3 times as much money in the same time? Is that possible? Of course. If you want to really emphasize something, that's a good phrase. Of course, of course. Okay, now all you have to do to earn more money in the same time is simply become more valuable. America is unique. It's a ladder to climb. Starts down here. What about $4 an hour? Big argument last year in Congress about the starting place. Should be 5, should be 5, should be 5. Well, no, it doesn't need to be 5. Why not start with 4? It's a ladder, right? This is not a bid, this is a ladder. Ladder to climb starts at $4. Now, some said, well, should be 5, should be 5. Well, maybe if you're going to stay at the bottom for the rest of your life, it probably should be 5. But that's kind of a pitiful way to live. Start and not grow, start and not change, start and not become more valuable. Okay? The whole scenario of life is to start, number 1, and what? Become more valuable, number 2. So America is a ladder to climb, starts at $4 an hour. And the more valuable you become, you just keep moving up the ladder. Top income last year, what? 52 million? The guy that runs Disney, what a company. Pay somebody for 1 year's work, $52 million. And the answer is, of course, this is one of those of course places. Of course, if you help a company make $1 billion, would they pay you $52 million? The answer is, of course, it's chicken feed. It's not much money. Now, why that much money? Because he has become so valuable. Now, why would we pay somebody only $4 an hour? They're not very valuable to the marketplace. Now, we've got to make that distinction to the marketplace. Might be a valuable brother, a valuable member of the community, a valuable member of the church, valuable in the sight of God, to the human family, of course, those kinds of values. But to the marketplace, which is called what? Reality. Reality is, if you're not very valuable, you don't get much money. Those are called the facts. I mean, that's how that is. Well then, how do you get more money? Simple answer. Somebody says, we'll all go on strike for more. Well, here's a major problem with that. Here's the major problem with that. You can't get rich by demand. Somebody says, well, I'm waiting for a raise. I'm telling you, it's easier to climb than to wait for a raise. Why not just become more valuable rather than wait? I'm telling you, that's the key to all good things. Becoming more valuable. Why would we pay somebody $400 an hour? They've become more valuable to the marketplace. See how this works? This stuff is so easy. This is America. It's a ladder. How far is it from 4 to 5? I'm telling you, it's not far. $4 to $5 an hour. If you work for McDonald's and haul out the trash, they'll pay you $5 an hour. If you whistle while you haul out the trash, they'll pay you $5 an hour. I'm telling you, you'll get an extra $1 just for a good attitude. Yeah, McDonald's, wear the hat, $5, and then you just keep becoming more valuable, more valuable, more valuable. I got a telephone call 5 years ago. A company said, we're ready to expand internationally. We need some help. I was sort of semi-retired looking for the next exotic beach. They said, no, Mr. Rohn, we got a project for you. Ready to expand internationally. We could use your help. Next little while, we'll add some millions to your fortune. Make it worth your while. I said, okay. I thought later, isn't that interesting that they called me? My second thought was, of course, they'd call me. Who else would they call? I mean, I could get the job done. Now, how come? How come I got a telephone call worth millions? I'd become valuable. Well, I'm a farm boy from Idaho. I was raised in obscurity. 1 year of college, and I thought I was thoroughly educated. Made all kinds of mistakes galore. At age 25, the creditors are calling me saying, hey, you told us the check was in the mail. I got pennies in my pocket. I got nothing in the bank. I'm behind on my promises. How come I get a telephone call 5 years ago and it's worth millions? I changed. I turned my life around. Is it possible to become worth millions, speaking economically now? There's a lot of values to become, but let's just talk economics. Is it possible to become that valuable? The answer is, of course. Of course. Now let me give you the secret. Schaaf said, here's a secret, Mr. Rohn. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I got that, it turned my life around. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. He said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. If you would have known me at age 25, you would have said Jim Rohn is a hard worker. If you'd have known me, you'd have said that. I'm the guy. I don't mind coming a little bit early, staying a little bit late. I don't mind that. You'd have said, well, Jim Rohn is a hard worker. You'd say, well, how come he's got pennies in his pocket and nothing in the bank and behind on his promises? Well, I was a hard worker, but I was working hard on my job, not on myself. I'm telling you, if you'll learn that simple little principle and start the process today, lattice tomorrow, I'll give you tonight to think it over and start this whole process of personal development. Work on yourself. Make yourself more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, you can so dynamically change your income. And economics is the least of the values that you can start earning in terms of equity if you'll start working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on yourself and develop the skills. Work hard on yourself and develop the graces, all of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Promotions, no problem. Becoming more valuable to the company, I'm telling you, no problem. Money, no problem. Economics, no problem. Future, no problem. If you just go to work on the right thing, don't get things out there to change. Don't try to change the seed. Don't change the soil. Don't change the sunshine. Don't change the rain. Don't change the mix of seasons. Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your personality. Work on your language. Work on the gift of communication. Work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. The second 6 years, I wound up rich. Someone says, don't you have to do the second 6 years like you did the first 6 years? And jot this down. No. You don't have to live the second 6 years like the first 6. You can use all the information and all the advice, repair all of your mistakes, and adopt a new and refined philosophy so that the next 6 years can be totally different than the last 6. No other life form can do this. See, if you were a tree, you'd be stuck as a tree. If you used up all the nourishment that was around you and you couldn't change location, you would die. But that's not true for human beings. Humans can change location, go north, south, east, west, live here for a while, live somewhere else for a while. So that's a note to make. You can greatly alter the course of your life. Now here's the next note to make. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is where? If you keep up your present disciplines and keep up the present pace that you're on, where will you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, hey, I haven't really thought about that. So now make this note. In 5 years, here's the probability. You will either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. And I promise you, 5 years from now, you really don't want to arrive at an undesigned destination because you may very well wind up wearing what you don't want to wear, driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live, maybe doing what you don't want to do simply because you didn't design a better destination. Now, sometimes after we've lived a few years, to repair our mistakes and get back on track seems like a tough job. If you start early, the fortune belongs to you. If you start early, all fortunes that are available to humans. If you start early, the promise looms large and the odds are heavy in your favor. Yes, it's possible to do some radical things starting late and still arrive with some good treasures and some good things, but when you haven't got that much time left, sometimes the decision has to be so drastic, people are not willing to make it. They're too tired, too weary, and too ill, and say, look, I don't have much time left. It's not going to happen for me anyway. It's easy to take that attitude, but everyone here, we got the time. Over the next 10 years, we got the time. The next 20 years, we've got the time. The next 30 years to make some repair now in our errors of the past and set up some new disciplines, and I'm telling you, that's going to change everything. So 5 years from now, I wish for you to arrive at a well-designed place, a place of productivity, a place that'll make you feel good about yourself, a place that'll give you honor and respect, a place that'll give you influence to touch other people 5 years from now that you couldn't do today. Where will you be in 5 years? Key phrase, we go the direction we face. If you start designing something at the end of this direction, sure enough, you will start going the direction you face. And we face the direction we design. Direction determines destination. Destination is not determined by hope. It's not determined by wish. Destination is determined by direction. You cannot change destination overnight, but here's what you can change today and overnight. You can change direction. And it is so fascinating what a small change of direction will do. A few decisions in discipline, a few decisions in learning, a few decisions in change of behavior, change of habit, a few decisions in setting goals that you've sort of let drift before, like I did at age 25. I didn't have a list. I immediately started to change that, and I immediately started to change my direction so that very quickly I started heading this direction. In less than 7 years, I was a millionaire. My father taught me way back, son, always do more than what you get paid for. Now, some individuals might argue with that. They'd say, no, you're going to mess up the whole program. I know they're wrong. In my own self-interest, I did what my father taught me, to always do more than I got paid for. Why? To make an investment in my future. Do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future, and it's paid off for me. If you're wanting that big promotion, are you going to go up to your boss and say, just give it to me, I'll work harder if you just give me that promotion? No, it doesn't work that way. You've got to do more in your current position so that you get noticed, so you stand out from everybody else. So the boss says, hey, we've got this position opening up, and I think we should give it to Nancy. She does so much more than we expect. Just imagine what she'll do if we give her this promotion. You've got to do more than you're paid for. You've got to. It's an investment in your future. It's one thing to make a sale. I'm telling you, if you make a sale, you'll make a living. All of us have found ways to make a living. What got interesting for me early on was to figure out ways to make a fortune. You'd say, well, Mr. Rohn, how would I deserve to make a fortune? It's easy. Render fortunes of service. People will do things you cannot believe for people who give them good service. Here's one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody, the gift of attention. In return, they will do extraordinary things for your career, take you by the hand and lead you to more people than you could meet by yourself. Always do more than you get paid for. Life responds to deserve, not need. Life was not designed to give us what we need. Life was designed to give us what we deserve. Once you understand that little life principle in your own self-interest, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. The ancient law does not go like this. If you need, you will reap. No, it doesn't work that way. A lot of people out there are hoping it works that way, but no, it doesn't. The ancient law goes like this. If you plant, you will reap. If you sow, you will reap. Somebody says, well, I really need to reap. Well, then you really need to plant in your own self-interest. Your own self-interest needs to be educated in how to plant, how to do it so everybody wins, because life doesn't respond to need. You can't go to the soil and say, I need a crop. The soil just smiles at you. And here's what the soil says. Don't bring me your need, bring me some seed, bring me some effort, bring me some discipline, bring me some interest, bring me some service. Bring me these things, and I'll return to you multiplied by 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. You can't come with need. You've got to come with seed. You've got to come with willingness. You've got to come with skills. You've got to be willing to learn, willing to change, willing to grow, willing to put yourself out, willing to stand up to the bad weather, willing to pull out the weeds, willing to nurture. That's the only way you get a return. Once you understand these principles, self-interest now truly becomes an exciting challenge, making sure everybody wins. Enlightened self-interest makes sure that everybody wins. Let me give you a good philosophical phrase. All values must be won by contest. All values must be won by contest. And after they've been won, they must be defended. You say, wow, you've put a pretty heavy task on us. That's what life is all about, a pretty heavy challenge. We don't give large trophies for small effort. If you want to win high health, if you want to win high wealth, if you want to extend a long reach in touching people's lives, you've got to engage in some of these extra powerful disciplines. One is to secure the territory by vigor, and the other is to defend it with equal challenge. Attack procrastination. Here's another good one. Blame. I engaged in this a big share of my life until I met Mr. Showoff. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame prices. I said, it costs too much. Showoff said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I never looked at it like that before. Showoff said, sir, you must intellectually understand it's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in judging results. I found that the errors were within, but he had to go after me on that point. Here's the next one, excuses. Wow, we've got 1 million. I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have the money, I don't have the experience. On and on with the excuses. Learning to attack is very important. Procrastination, that's a good one. Front and center, we've got to attack procrastination because it's so insidious. It eats up such large chunks of your life and leaves you in a small corner, putting it off, delaying, letting it slide. Now, I'm one of the best to attack procrastination because I confess to being one of the all-time great procrastinators. I've done a lot of things, but I've put a lot of things off. Procrastination, I'm so good at it, I could teach it. But I also know the pain of procrastination. I know the regret that comes from procrastination. I can show you pieces of my life missing, never to be repaired because I let it slide. Now see, if we all studied our own lives and we're trying to help somebody with this insidious disease of procrastination and putting it off, we would use ourselves as the best example. You feel the strongest about your own experiences and your own emotions. Do you think you could help somebody with procrastination? Developing this skill of going back, rehearsing your own life, and coming up with the essence of the emotion and the experience to illustrate to somebody how insidious it can become and how devastating it can leave your life. What will be missing if you let it slide? That's what we call learning to attack the problem. Now underline the word attack. It's very important to go after the insidious. If the future gets clear, the price gets easier because you have to remember, for every promise, there's a price to pay. Everybody's got to pay the price. Everybody's got to do the deal. Everybody's got to do the disciplines. Everybody has to pay. But here's what I've discovered. If the promise is clear and powerful, the price is easy to pay. The price is some classes. The price is a few books. The price is a few disciplines. The price is finding something that will make your life better, make you grow, make you change, make you develop. So the first part of the key is to design the promise. Then what is the price to pay? I'm telling you, the price will be easy. Anybody in my audience can pay it, no matter where you are, where you come from. Color doesn't matter. Religion doesn't matter. Where you grew up doesn't matter. Circumstances don't matter. I'm telling you, if you'll make the promise of the future clear for yourself, the things you want, the places you want to go, things you want to have, the person you want to become, the skills you want, the homes you want, the future you want, the friends you want, all of the values of life that you could possibly want. If you'll make that clear, make those lists and be serious about it, I promise you it's an easy price to pay. Anybody can pay it. The best advice I can give you is, if I can do it, you can do it. Farm boy from Idaho, raised in obscurity, I changed my life, turned it upside down, turned it all around, found economics, found future, found promise, and if I can do it, you can do it. So start setting your goals and see if you can't get a better excitement going for the things you want to accomplish for the future. One of the major reasons for setting goals is for what they make of you in achieving them. My teacher advised me when I first got started at age 25. He said, "Jim, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire?" He said, "It's got a nice ring to it, enough zeros to impress your accountant. And I'm here to help you. You're only 25 years old. You've been to 1 year of college. You've got a beautiful family, every reason to do it. Why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire?" He said, "Here's why." And I thought, he didn't need to teach me why. Wouldn't it be nice to have $1 million? He said, "No, then you'll miss it." He said, "Here's why, for what it will make of you to achieve it." I'm telling you, that statement changed my life. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve them. He said, "Now, once you become a millionaire, what's important is not the money." I thought that was kind of strange teaching. He said, "Honestly, it isn't important. You could just give the money away." Now I did better than that. I lost it all. By the time I was 31, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 33, I was broke. But when I lost all my money, guess what I found out? Mr. Schwab was right. What was valuable was not the money. What was valuable was what I became to earn the money. The skills I had, the knowledge I had about the marketplace, the values that I had going for me, they were more valuable than the money. Here's an important statement to remember. It's not what you get that makes you valuable, it's what you become. So part of the key here is to set the kind of goals that will make something of you. Don't set them too low so that you don't have to grow, and you don't have to read, and you don't have to try, and you don't have to stretch. Don't set them too low, and then don't sell out. Don't go for something that's going to cost you your virtue, or cost you your values, or sell out your principles. There's a good middle road here to follow. Goals that will inspire, goals that will help you grow, change, develop, and become better than you are.